Dear viewers, today's topic is mind and brain. The mind is the human consciousness that manifests itself in mental phenomena like sensation, perception, thinking, reasoning, imagination, memory, belief, desire, emotion, motivation. The brain is merely the medium in which thought waves from mind vibrates. There are several brains in our body because our body parts are intelligent, but three are the most important brains. Just like gut brain, we say that our gut feeling says like this. We are having heart brain, that we are having something in our heart. And the brain, head brain. So here we are concentrating more on the head brain because the most important. All the body functions are being controlled. Most of the autonomic systems that is being controlled through the head brain. And all the voluntary activities are also being controlled by our head brain. Now, what brain functions? Brain major function is discriminative awareness. We always discriminate between good and bad. It is ours, it is others. Also, we think about ourselves and those close to us. Whether you can say it's ego or aham. We always think about ourselves or with those things that are close to us. And also, we always remember the past and speculate about the future. Because we are remembering, it means we remain worried about the past. What has happened, it should not repeat again in the future. Now, we can say, what are the other functions? One is they are processing the sensory information. There are autonomic sensory informations that is subconsciously received about the condition of the body, such as body temperature, heart rate, blood pressure, etc., etc. So all these are processed through autonomic functions, autonomic systems. It is not in our control, it is under involuntary control. We cannot control the body temperature, or heart rate, or blood pressure. All these are being controlled automatically through the autonomic system. Homeostasis is maintained through this. And next is somatic sensory information. That we sense it, we see, we touch, we hear some sound, we smell. So all these things are done by the somatic sensory information. And also our voluntary motions that is being controlled and performed with the help of this brain. Now, let us see how many parts are there in the brain. If we see the total brain, that we can divide into three parts. Forebrain, midbrain that is behind this, and hindbrain that is just behind with the midbrain. So this brain stem, cerebrum, all this comes in this hindbrain. So if you see that whatever actions are being performed, that is performed with the help of these brain parts. Now we know that what is the forebrain, what is midbrain, this is the midbrain, and what is hindbrain. Now, let us understand one by one. Forebrain. Forebrain involves this cerebral cortex, the outer layer. This is the cerebral cortex. And behind the cerebral cortex, there is a cerebrum. And prefrontal cortex is the part of the cerebral cortex. This part is called prefrontal cortex. So cerebrum performs higher functions like interpreting, touch, vision, movement, reasoning, emotions, learning, and fine control of movement. If we see the what prefrontal cortex that does, actually prefrontal cortex, all the thinking activities, all the reasoning activities, all these things are performed by the prefrontal cortex. Cognitive control functions and dopamine modulates cognitive control. What is dopamine? Dopamine is a hormone. Basically, brain dopamine. Dopamine may generate anywhere in the body. Whatever dopamine is generated by the brain, we always follow according to that. That is why there is one pathway that is called dopamine pathway. And we want to act those work where we are getting the reward by dopamine, through dopamine. Whether we want chocolate to eat, or we want sex to be performed, or we want to see some entertainment program. So, or we want to do some work on social platform. So it means we are having some rewards. So this is because of prefrontal cortex. If we see all the movement activities of the body is performed through this cerebral cortex. Out of that it is frontal cortex. If we see, there is one area that you call the motor strip, and another area is sensory strip. This motor strip, this is in the frontal lobe. So all the activities that is performed, or the movements are to be performed with these motor strips, because motor nerves comes out from here and give movement to the muscles. And the sensory strip, this is the sensory strip. Here what we are getting? This is in the parietal lobe. In this parietal lobe, we are having sensing. So we are, whatever sensors say, different sensing systems, whatever information they give, that is being analyzed here. And then we are having perception and understanding. And the third lobe is occipital lobe. This occipital lobe, we are able to make image whatever we see with the help of eyes. So up till now we have discussed frontal lobe, parietal lobe, and occipital lobe. The fourth lobe is the temporal lobe. And because the whole of the brain, they are in two parts, two hemispheres are there. So all these are in two parts, if you see. Left brain right brain, left hemisphere, right hemisphere. This frontal lobe or parietal lobe or occipital lobe, all these and temporal lobe, all are two, left part and right part. Left part of the brain is controlling the movement of the right part of the body, and right part of the brain controls the movement of the left part of the body. And both these hemisphere is connected through corpus callosum. This is the corpus callosum. Through this, the information passed on from one hemisphere to the other hemisphere. Now see, what is there? There is one more area here that is called Broca's area. What does it do? Actually, our tongue twisting, our facial movement while speaking, that is being performed with the help of this Broca's area. This is only the left side of this area. Similarly, there is a Wernicke area. This Wernicke area is also in the left side on the temporal lobe. That is, this temporal lobe on the left side is not visible. This is from the right side. So, this is for language comprehension. It means both Broca's and Wernicke area, both are for the language, so that we are able to speak and we are able to comprehend. Now, so in this way, we could understand what these four lobes are doing. These temporal lobes near the auditory portion, near our ears. So this helps in hearing. This is for the sight-seeing vision. And other sensing, they are performed, they are being analyzed through parietal lobe. Now, if you see, whatever information we are getting from environment, through sensory information, that all being analyzed in thalamus. Mind it, thalamus are also two. They are analyzed. And based on the analysis, where it is to go, whether it is to be sent to the occipital or to parietal or frontal, wherever this information has to be sent, that is being analyzed by thalamus. And thalamus does this. And based on this analysis, hypothalamus is controlling the body. All the body functions are being controlled. Rather, if you can say, most of the involuntary functions are being controlled by hypothalamus. While prefrontal cortex or cerebral cortex, they are controlling the voluntary functions. But this hypothalamus is mostly controlling the involuntary function. How? Because this secretes some certain hormones, we can say, or they are releasing certain things, and by that this directing the pituitary gland, this is called master control valve, to release different types of hormones. And something is being released by hypothalamus also with this neurotransmitters act. So with the help of neurons also some information goes, through hormones also certain messages are being sent to the body, so that body system is controlled. But if the information which has come that contains the fear part, if you are feeling some threats are there, then amygdala that comes into the picture. The amygdala that bypass the thalamus, and information is sent directly to this portion. Why threat portion? This nature has made so that time is not passed in processing the information if it contains the threat. This arrangement has been made for our safety. This amygdala is not visible in this picture. Now next is hippocampus. Hippocampus, this is also not visible. It is deep in temporal lobe, and that helps us in learning and memory. Whatever learning we do, also this helps us in maintaining short-term and long-term memory. Now we see there is a pons and medulla oblongata. Before that, this cerebellum, pons, and medulla oblongata. This is the hindbrain, and there is a midbrain in between. So this pons and this also helps in emotions, while the major portion of the emotions are dealt by the amygdala and hippocampus. So if emotional part is there, so that is screened by amygdala. Now all these activities are performed with the control of mind. Mind is relaying through reticular activating system where focus is to be maintained. So it means we are getting so many information, but concentration will not be on all the information because our reticular activating system is not allowing it. Wherever RAS is focusing, that is there only we will be concentrating. That's why if we are setting our goals for day-to-day activities, for the long-term vision we are setting the goal, then our reticular activating system will help us to achieve that goal. One more thing I would like to tell you, this reticular activating system, it brings the subconscious to conscious. So whatever is there in your subconscious, that will come into conscious and you will remain active even during the sleep if it is allowing your focus is there and your RS is activity. Now how this mind is formed? Mind is formed with the conditioning, how we have been conditioned and whatever past experiences are there. Based on that, mind is formed and we make our perceptions with the help of this mind. And whatever actions have been performed, that is not the truth. Truth may be somewhere else. But what activities we are performing, that is based on our perception, not the truth. Truth may be elsewhere. That is why it is necessary that we must understand how our brain is working with the help of mind. So if we control our mind, our brain will work properly. Now how the mind could be controlled? As you see, the mind is from the outside. And so if you see this, whatever smell we are having, if we are having certain contact with the environment, that is sometime bypassed and goes directly to cerebral cortex. So even smell, olfactory and environmental sensing, that goes through olfactory. That is going, it means it need not to go through thalamus. So That is why while doing the meditation, if we are having some good smell, that helps in meditation also. And also if we are having a peaceful environment, that helps in doing the meditation. And that meditation will calm down our mind when there will be no thoughts and we should be able to realize the truth. It is quite possible. So when thoughts are not there, our minimum conditioning is there. All the past experiences have been forgot. At that time, what we realize, that could be the truth. And we are in with the conscious mind. One more thing I would like to say. Here we were discussing the four lobes. There is one fifth lobe is there. Insular cortex. That is the fifth lobe. That is located at the separation of frontal and parietal lobes from the temporal lobes. Somewhere inside this, though it is not visible here. The amygdala, as I told, that perceive emotions such as anger, fear, sadness. So that is why we are bypassing thalamus. And sometimes we say that we forget when we are in anger. Everything we forget, and we start saying those words even that we should not have told. So if there is a threat, then all this is bypassed. Normally, we act only after thinking process. Whatever comes in our mind, we do not act according to that. We feel, we think first, then this motor cortex, motor strip allow us to perform. So we always think before acting. But when this amygdala, this overpower, at that time we forget something. So we have to shrink this amygdala. Shrinking amygdala is must. And that could be done if we perform the meditation, if we remain mindful while acting. Thank you, friends. If you liked it, please subscribe.